Hey, y'all, welcome back to the Late Night Vision Show. This is episode 154. I am Hans. 50% of the show, we've got a good one for you today. We're doing a full review of a brand new thermal optic out on the market from a company that's very, very well known for their daytime optics, but they are just now breaking into the thermal side and into the thermal game. But before we get into it, Mr. Jason Robertson of the Outdoor Legacy Gear Company, YouTube channel, Instagram fame, and Facebook fame. How you doing, Jason?
I don't think any of that was true, but I am good. I'm here, and anybody who listened to last week's show, I knew that I was going to be auditioning replacements for you this week, but it's been a week. I've slept, so I decided to let you stay on the show, even though you did make fun of me on my show. But that's okay. That's we're still friends. I've slept and I've gotten over it, but yeah, my wife and kids thought it was really funny when I showed them. So if y'all don't know what I'm talking about, we're not going to relive it. You can go back to last week's show and see there towards the end when my co-host was making fun of me. So,
oh gosh, maybe it happens a lot because I don't even remember exactly what you're talking.
Well, I'm not going to bring it up. I'm not going to just say that. I'm not gonna have the shame again of you making fun of me. So,
all right. Well, I'm gonna have to go back and rewatch it to see what I said to Jason.
Well, I thought that you hunted a coyote tournament this week. I mean, a hog hunting tournament this weekend.
I did. So, real quick, because we want to get right into the review, but Outdoor Legacy sponsored a hog hunting tournament, the Conway Farms Hog Hunting Tournament, and I want to send out a big shout out to the winners, Matt Jackson and Mr. Ben Johnson. Ben's with Back 40 Firearms Company in Athens, Texas. Matt's a good buddy of mine from the Murchison area, and they won biggest hog. There was another gentleman on their team, and I apologize, I didn't get his name, but they won the biggest hog stringer at 739 pounds for 3 hogs, with the biggest pig being 291 pounds. So congratulations to them. They did a good job. Good guys, good friends of mine. And I was happy for them. And thank you to Outdoor Legacy for giving away. We did a giveaway of the AGM ASP TM160, and a lucky person number was drawn. So it was a good day. I'll talk more about it because there were some funny things that happened. Our team did really good. We shot a total of 27 pigs, and they were all very small. No, they weren't very small, but we were 150 pounds away from the leader, so it was not even close. But it was a good time.
Good. Well, I'm glad y'all had a good time. Hey, wait a minute though. Didn't y'all get something like biggest cutters, or you won some kind of money? You won money for something. What wasn't it?
We did. We won side pot for biggest cutters at 2 7/8 inches.
That's so pretty good.
Almost, dang near 3-inch cutters on them. So yeah, that was really good. And I totally forgot about that. It's been a crazy time, y'all. And I'll talk more about it next week, but I got bit by a brown recluse. They think a brown recluse spider a week ago, and I've been on antibiotics like crazy, like a lot of antibiotics for the past week. So my mind's been in in the fog for a while, but I'm back. I'm feeling better though. I did hunt with a messed up leg though, with the spider bite, but
toughed it out.
I toughed it out. Yeah, I couldn't let the team down. I don't think they even needed me, to tell you the truth. So, all right. So today we are going to be reviewing the Zeiss DTI 3-35 thermal monocular. Now, everybody's heard of Zeiss. Huge company. Daytime, very popular daytime hunting optic company. They've got other things. I mean, if you've purchased a camera, you may have purchased a camera with a Zeiss lens on it. I mean, there's just Zeiss is everywhere, unbelievable business. This is their first thermal optic, and we got a chance to, you and I, both of us got our hands on one. We've been playing it now with it for the last few weeks, and we've got a lot to say about it. But as normal, we're going to go through the specs. We're going to talk about functionality. We're going to talk about ID ranges, likes and dislikes, who it's good for. We're going to give you the full rundown. And if you are looking to purchase the Zeiss thermal monocular or any other night vision or thermal optic, you can do so at outdoorlegacygear.com. You can call us at 877-350-1818. We'd love to talk to you about these optics, and thank you for choosing us with all your taking the confusion out of thermal and night vision optics. That's what we do. So, Jason, I'm going to let you run right into the specs on this new Zeiss thermal monocular.
Okay, well, I've got one here I was holding up for a second, and I'm sure, Hans, you probably got yours that if you're watching on YouTube, you can see that, and I'm sure he'll be holding that up as well. So I'm going to go over these real quick, and then I'm going to make a couple observations here towards the end. Again, this is the Zeiss DTI 3/35 thermal monocular. It's got a resolution of 384 by 288, 17 microns. It's a 50 hertz refresh rate, 35 millimeter focusable lens, so you can focus that. It also has a rear eyepiece diopter focus. It's got a 1,300 yard detection range, a 2.5 power base magnification. It goes up to 4 times digital zoom, which would be 10 power total. It's got a 1280 by 960 LCOS display screen. It's got a 56-foot wide horizontal field of view at 100 yards. It has an internal rechargeable battery. The battery is non-removable. It's got a 7-hour battery life. We're going to come back around to that. Just remember that number, and we'll come back. But 7-hour battery life is what the specs say. It does have internal video recording with no audio. It has a smartphone app. It is an IP66 water rating. So what that is high pressure water and dust from any direction. So it's not submersible, but it is more than capable of any kind of rain, blowing rain from any direction. You're good to go there. So any normal hunting conditions should be fine. Operating temperature is down to plus 14 degrees. So if you're hunting in the super, super cold, it's probably not going to be for you, but plus 14. It weighs approximately 15 ounces, and the price is $2,999.99. Excuse me. Now, there is some things that I do want to mention. The first thing is the warranty. This is super, super important. So listen close. Excuse me. This thing has got a 3-year warranty, but to get the 3-year warranty, this is different than any other thermal manufacturer we deal with. To get the 3-year warranty, this scope must be registered with Zeiss within, I believe it's like 30 days of the purchase. Otherwise, you only have a 2-year warranty. Now, again, as of right now, the recording of this show in April of 2021, we don't have any other manufacturers that are that way. You do not have to register them. You've got the warranty. Zeiss is different. Again, they're a high-end daytime optic manufacturer. They do things a little bit differently. Again, 2 years out of the box. It has to be registered to get the 3rd year of warranty. And there is a card in the box as soon as you open it up that tells you all this, tells you how to do it, where to do it. It's not hard. It doesn't cost anything, but it just needs to be done. So I always like to tell everybody, there's an important thing. Normally it doesn't matter, but on this monocular, it does. And once you register it, you can't ever return it. So when you register it, it's yours. But this is kind of one of those things where there's going to be some people forget, and I just want everybody to know up front. Yeah. So I got a couple of things, but we can get into that later on here. So Hans, let's go ahead and let's talk about, what do you think about this unit? We've both been using it for several weeks, and let's get into this.
Yeah, so I'm going to just show some things right here on the scope real quick while you're talking. You got your objective lens focus. This is a true 35 millimeter objective lens on it. Button layout, for ambidextrous design. The buttons are huge. The buttons are very big. You're not going to mess up and know or not know what button you're supposed to.
That's right.
Supposed to use. It does come with a lanyard. I think that's one of the things we're going to talk about in our likes, but it does come with a lanyard you can hang around your neck. Right here, this knob here on the side is for the the eyepiece diopter focus. This is, if you look at it and you look at it just seems like a very basic design, and I'm going to tell you that's not a negative. That's a positive. When you look at the form factor and the design of this thing, I think anybody could pick this up and figure out what each one of these buttons do and what each one of these knobs do. So I think the design and form factor is really good. As far as ID ranges, we've tested this thing out. I've tested it out. We've had some rain quite a bit lately, and being able to test this in different weather conditions, I would say the ID range on this thing is going to be about 300 yards. It's a 2.5 hour base magnification unit. We've tested this thing for quite a while now. We're looking at at a hog tonight before we start taping, just to get another look at it. And I think if you get this, I think 300 yards is a conservative number as far as what you could ID with.
Yeah, so I agree with that totally. I think 300 is very, very doable with this. Image quality is really sharp. It's really clear. I want to talk about a couple things first. Before I even get into this, I think maybe I should have done this early on, but this is exciting to us to have a daytime, manufacturer like Zeiss coming into this market and doing a really good job on their first optic. I think that anytime we hear about a daytime optic manufacturer, putting their big toe into the waters of thermal, and I think we're going to see maybe more of it as time moves on, as thermal becomes more mainstream, more affordable, more popular. And there's in the last 6 months, there's been another company that's kind of tried to do it. I don't think they've done as good as Zeiss has. I think Zeiss has got a legitimate, really nice optic for their first thermal optic. I think they did it very, very good. You mentioned these buttons on the top. They are very big, and they also have they've got these, what would you call that you can feel it. They got these little, what am I looking for? What's the word there, Hans?
Yeah. I don't know if you can see it in the video, but
they're molded. So they got little, you can, like this has the little off-on power button. You can feel it with your finger.
It's almost like Braille for a person that can't.
It is like there's arrows. Yeah. You can feel it. And there's this back button.
Like
you probably can't see it, but there's 3 little lines, which in our modern culture, 3 lines really means a menu. It's very simple to use. Now, one thing that I told Hans that I found right off the bat was kind of getting into this and just playing with it is you really don't need a manual. If you've ever used a thermal, even if you haven't, it's very simple. The menu is extremely well laid out. I don't know. It's just, to me, it doesn't take much to figure it out. And I like that. That's a good thing. Again, I think this is an important factor, and it's something that a lot of manufacturers who've been in this industry a long time still haven't quite figured out how to do, is to make the menus easy to use, simple, that anybody can understand. And I think they did that on this unit right here. I think the overall design feel is really, really nice. And I'm just glad to have Zeiss in this space. I think it's going to be interesting to see what they do in the future, if they come out with more stuff, whether it's more monoculars or a dedicated scopes or what it is. I think it's a good thing. Zeiss is known for their European high-end quality in the daytime hunting world and shooting world, and I think that they're bringing that over to the night hunting world. And so I'm pretty excited to see what happens as time moves on. So I know it's kind of a little bit of I probably should have brought that up at the beginning, but I did want to mention that right now.
Yeah, exactly. So we've kind of jumped way ahead into the likes. We talked about all the things we like, but we talked about the ID ranges and the functionality. Let's. I'm going to run down my likes and what I like about this unit. First thing is the menu. Menu's very easy, like you said, straightforward. Not a lot of complicated jargon lingo in there. It's just very simple to maneuver through. The picture image, very crisp, very good. Can't say anything bad about the picture image. The ease of use, like we talked about, with the buttons laid out, the big buttons on there. Once you get this thing out of the box, you pretty much know what everything does. If you have a limited experience with thermal, or even no thermal experience at all, you'll be able to use this thing in the first couple minutes. And I know the one thing that you wanted to talk about that I mentioned earlier was the lanyard. So tell people I don't know if you've got one attached to one.
I don't have it attached, but this is, so I don't normally use a lanyard on my thermal binoculars, but a lot of people do. And it's one of the biggest questions that I get from guys is like, hey, what do I do with this thing? Where do I hang it? How can I attach a lanyard? And there's always a way, but it's always kind of like they hang weird. They'll hang on you like they're sideways or they're upside down or it's just weird. Well, Zeiss, again, this is what you should expect from a company like this. They thought ahead, and I can't really see this, but the way it is that where you connect the lanyard, it's going to be a normal binocular lanyard. So it is a padded neoprene Zeiss lanyard that comes with this, just what you'd expect on binoculars. But where those two little straps come down, they connect, both of them right here. What that allows this to do is to rest on your chest in the perfect position, pointing straight down like a pair of binoculars would. And I know there's some guys watching this going, big deal. Well, it's a big deal if you've ever tried to put a lanyard on a binocular. I mean, right. No one has ever done that. And I know it looks very simple, and you're like, good gravy, guys. But I'm serious. Go buy every monocular on the market and try to hang it on a lanyard, and you'll see that it doesn't hang any better than this right there. And right. So I really, really like that. If you're going to use one with a lanyard, this is the way to do it. Again, that comes with it. It is a nice padded neoprene lanyard. If you don't want it, no problem. You don't have to put it on there. But I think that's a big deal. It was very well thought out, and it's one of those things. It's the small things that matter.
Oh, yeah, attention to detail. So let's talk about something that's a positive and a negative. And this may be the first time we've ever had a crossover from a positive that is also a negative. But let's talk about the battery life and the battery gauge. Let's talk about that a little bit.
This is really, really strange. And it is. It's a positive and a negative. And I don't know. I'm going to still keep it in the positive category, but there is a negative here. So the official specs say this thing has a 7-hour battery life. Well, Jason doesn't believe official specs when it comes to battery life. So every time we get one of these optics, I charge it all the way up, and I go put a stopwatch on my phone, and I just start watching it. And it's really not hard to do until you get down towards the end, and you have to be constantly watching the thing because a lot of these things go from, the gauges aren't all perfect. So maybe it shows a quarter, and in 5 minutes it's off, and you missed it, and you don't know how long it's been off, so it's a pain. Well, this unit at 5.5 hours, and literally about 5 hours and 30 minutes, the battery gauge, it's just a little rectangle that, just shows how full the battery is, got all the way down to about 25 or 30%. All right, no problem. 7-hour battery life seemed legit, and it turned red. All right, so that's let you know, hey, we're getting towards the end of the battery. Well, I just continued to watch it and watch it and watch it, and it never moved. It stayed at that same position and stayed red, but the unit kept going. Also, something I should mention, right up here on the top of this unit is a little LED, and that LED will be different colors based on the charge, okay?
Right.
And when you're charging it, a lot of people complain. I'm skipping all over the place. But a lot of people complain when they're charging their monocular, like, how do I know if it's charged? I've got to turn it on. You can see right here. This will turn green when it's fully charged. And so, I mean, everything indicated that the battery was about to run down. And I'm expecting 7 hours. Well, 7 hours comes and goes. And I'm like, okay, that they're conservative. We're going to get 7 hours and 20 minutes. Well, 8 hours comes and goes. 9 hours, 10 hours, 11 hours. This unit ran for 12 hours. And that is phenomenal. I am super pumped, super happy that it ran 12 hours, but at 5.5 hours, so less than 50% of the time of the actual runtime, it was in the red showing 25%. So the battery gauge was essentially useless. So Hans was like, well, that's not good. And I said, no, but I'll take an inaccurate battery gauge and get 12 hours of battery life versus an accurate one that only gives me 7. So I had been told that this unit was going to run longer than 7. I mean, I had a guy at Zeiss say, listen, you're going to get a lot better than 7. He didn't mention anything about the battery gauge, so that was strange. I thought, but I did. I got 12 hours, so I just think that is it's something you need to know if you get one of these. That test yours. Yours may be a little bit different, but I don't think so. From what I've been told, I think they're going to run a long time, but I think that little battery gauge meter probably is not calibrated correctly, and that may be something that gets changed in the future. I'm not sure, but anyway, it's a like and a dislike. But again, I can handle it. As long as that thing's going to run, 12 hours or 10 or 8 or whatever, I'm super happy with that. Great battery life.
I think a lot of people would agree with you that they'd rather have longer battery life and deal with the inaccurate gauge. But 12 hours is phenomenal. Yeah,
I also want to say, dealing with another monocular that I was testing from another big name brand, when their battery gets down low, it starts flashing. So the whole little gauge flashes. And I was doing a test on one of those a while back, and that unit actually ran for 45 minutes while the battery is flashing. And I had seen on some other optics that would normally mean you had 5 to 10 minutes. I mean, the thing ran for, over 30 minutes. So it's kind of the same thing. You just, once it gets to that point, you're just using it until it shuts off. And here's the deal. It's a monocular. Okay, so it's not like it's your scope. It's not like if you're using it and it shuts off that it really costs you anything. You're just going to use it as long as you can. And also, I want to mention here, it does have a USB port here on the bottom. So this unit will, that's how you charge it. So it will run off of any standard normal USB battery pack. So if you get out there and you're concerned about that, you can plug it into a battery pack, or you can plug it into your truck and charge it, do whatever. So that is an option.
Yep, that's exactly right. So a like and not necessarily a dislike, but what's going on here? How about that?
Yeah, exactly.
And then
go ahead.
Well, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, the dislikes. The only thing that I really would say that I dislike about this, and this is a little bit of inside baseball. If you've never used a thermal optic, or you're not familiar with it or use one a lot, you're not going to know this. You're probably not gonna catch this. This is just something, having looked through so many optics that Hans and I see. When you take this unit and you move it back and forth, okay, and you do this. If you do it quickly, it's not a lag. Like if you've been around thermals a while, you may be thinking, oh, he's describing a low refresh rate and there's a lag. It's not a lag. It's that when you stop, there's almost this little bit of a bounce. It's this, I cannot explain it well, but you move, and it's not that it's lagging, but when you come to this hard stop, it's just like the image bobbles. It just, I don't know what it is. It's not really annoying. It doesn't hurt anything. And I'm telling you, most people would never notice it. Yeah. I mean, even people that use thermal might never see it. So I kind of hated to bring it up, but it is there. It's something that Again, you don't see it when you're moving fast. It's just this little bobble.
Yeah.
I mean, how would you describe it?
I noticed that it was worse when I first turned it on. I don't know if you noticed it, but when I first turned the unit on, it seemed to be the worst that it would be when I had it on all the time. But no, I don't think the common person would notice it too much. If you scan from your truck and you're driving around pretty fast, you'll probably notice it. But I think the way that most people hunt, it's not going to be an issue for you. But a little bit of a bounce, a little bit of an image
it would
bounce.
not be it's a minor thing, so minor I kind of hate to bring it up, but it is there, and so I would not be a deciding factor in me buying it. That would be by no means it. I think the only other thing, if I just had to say what do I not like, what would I prefer was different, I think it's going to be an internal battery. I mean, as y'all know, Hans and I are not giant fans of internal batteries, but that's the way that a lot of monoculars are going. A lot more scopes are getting internal batteries, and I think it's just the way of the world. But I think, getting 7 to 12 hours of battery somewhere in there, I think it kind of gets to the point where it doesn't hardly matter anymore, because most guys are not going to be hunting that long nonstop at night. I know there's some guys who do, but the average guy's not going to be. So I think that'd be the only other thing that I would say is not my favorite. But overall, very, very robust unit. I want to, you can't tell this in this video that you're looking here. This thing is nice. It fits your hand well. It is shaped here where your thumb can come up in the back. It is a very smooth, high quality material. I just want to be clear that this is not a cheap little unit. It is what you would expect when you pick up, a nice European optic.
Yeah. There's no doubt about it. This is, and it's keeping up with the standard, I think, that Zeiss wants to keep up with the high quality daytime optics that they have. And I think that they want to get into the thermal market, and they want to do, they're doing it slow, which I think is smart. They could just go out there and throw out a bunch of stuff against the wall and see if it sticks, but they're only coming out with a monocular. They don't have a scope right now. But they produce a very good thermal optic at just under $3,000. And I think that they're going to.
No, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Well, I think they're going to sell quite a few of these. I
do too.
And I think that they're, with them doing the thermal market, I think that they see this as a complement to their daytime optics, being, hey, people can track animals that they shoot with their Zeiss daytime scope, and they can have this thermal monocular to track them. So I think they're doing this to help them sell more daytime scopes too.
I think so, and I think that speaking of this quality, I don't think there's anybody that's going to own a high-end Zeiss daytime optic that is going to pick one of these up and say anything but, yeah, that's nice, that's a Zeiss. I mean, I don't think you're going to pick it up like, oh, this is cheap. No, I think they're going to feel very comfortable with it, with that quality. And what I am happy about is that, again, this is their first optic getting into this industry, and I think they've done a very good job in every way. So this needs to be complimented, because again, we've got companies that have been in the industry a long time that don't do this good. They've got a very nice ergonomic design. It is a high quality, build. The button layout is very intuitive. They're large. They're easy to press, to know where you're at, to not get lost. The menu system, as we already said, it is as easy and simple as any thermal monocular or thermal scope on the market. Then we've got the image quality. Okay, image quality is absolutely there. This falls right in line with a $3,000 optic. I mean, what's available here in the U.S. for $3,000? I've put it beside some of them, and it just falls right in line with them. So I think this is winning all the way around. I mean, I don't think that this optic is groundbreaking. I don't think it does anything that there's like no other optics ever done this before. I don't. But what I wouldn't expect that from somebody's first thermal optic ever. But I think they've shown that they thought this out well, and they did a very good job designing it and making sure, you know, again, from design to image quality to menus to functions and features, it's all there.
Well, first of all, I'll say this. We're really starting to show our age when we keep talking about how great it is that the buttons are big. It's like we're one like the Cricket cell phone or something, you know?
Yeah.
Because it's
only got 3 buttons on it.
It's only got 3 buttons, and they're about the size of your thumb. So
exactly.
I promise you, we're not that old. You know, big buttons don't have to be the standard. But you know what you see these high-end daytime thermal optics companies. This is the second one that's broken into the market. There's probably going to be another one very soon. This is showing the growth of our sport, what we love. I mean, all of us, everybody that watches this podcast, everybody that watches the videos, we are addicted to hunting at night, and, you know, night vision and thermal optics. The growth over the last few years has been exponential and crazy, to tell you the truth, how big this business has grown. And to see these companies this year, this is the first year that these big daytime optics companies have broken into the market, shows that they see how big of a market this is growing to be, and that they need to be in it. So they are going to continue to produce units and better units, and the competition's going to get, I mean, this is what we've talked about for the last several months, but with the competition increase, the value increasing, the quality increasing, prices stabilizing, and in some cases going down, it's only better for all of us that are fans of this, and people that watch this show and listen to this show. I mean, this is a great thing. I know $3,000 might not be in your budget, but again, it's products like these that are helping get the companies produce the $2,000 optics and the $2,500 optics. So it's all working out the way that it should, and I'm glad to see that a big company like Zeiss is in the market and really helping to grow the sport. And it's definitely going to help it grow.
I totally agree with that, and I want to say something here. What I see that I like about this is that they have taken and put their own signature touch on this optic. Okay, I do not imagine that they started from the ground up with a thermal sensor and built every single thing inside of this from scratch. Okay, but what they did do is they went on this outside and they created this unit that matches, the Zeiss that we know and love, and the quality that we expect. And that's what I want to see. And not just come in here with a piece of junk and put their name brand on it because, hey, people know our name. They're going to buy it whether it's good or not. Yeah. That's what I don't want to see. I dread when these outside companies come into, I'll say, our market. But I mean, again, all of us as thermal owners, users into this market, I dread it when somebody comes in and it's like, oh, wow, thermals are selling like crazy. Let's just get the pieces, the biggest piece of junk we can get, slap our name on the side of it and go sell a bunch of them until people figure out they're junk. No, I don't have any use for that. And so if a company's going to come in and do that, I'm not giving you the time of day. And I don't think Zeiss has done that here. So I'm really happy about that. Now I want to move into kind of who this unit is good for. And I feel like we're just really bragging on these guys a lot. But I want to make a comment. This is something that we really, could have touched on earlier, but now's a good time. This is a 2.5 power base magnification. So that's a big deal. That is a great magnification to start at. Hans and I actually really prefer that 2 power. I mean, that's our sweet spot. It is a 2 power, but 2.5 is absolutely usable. It is so much better for what we're doing than 3.5, 4. I mean, that 2 to 2.5 is the range that I want to be in. I mean, I could even take 1.5 if I had to, but 2.5. Reason is I know there's guys that are like, well, man, I coyote hunt. I get that. But field of view. You're not shooting with this. You're scanning. And when you get too much magnification, you're going to find yourself with this narrow field of view. You're looking down a paper towel tube when you could be looking down a toilet paper tube. And you want that field of view. And 2.5 power is still a lot. I mean, you're talking about we're still IDing easily at 300 yards, okay? You zoom this thing up one time, you still have a good image at 5 power. I would greatly prefer that personally, over a 3.5, 4 power optic. So again, I think that they hit a home run with that because I think this is going to work not only for hog hunters, but for coyote hunters.
Mm-hmm. Exactly right. So I think I agree with everything you say. I can't see why I wouldn't. So you always do the best job on that. Wrapping a good bow around this and letting everybody know who it's good for. So if you are interested in purchasing the Zeiss DTI, I've got to look at it because it is a weird.
It is weird. DTI 335.
335. So we know why the 35 obviously is the millimeter optics lens size.
I don't know what the 3 is.
I don't know what the 3 is either. It is not a 3 power base, as like Jason says.
That's what I thought it was going to be. Yeah. But it's a 2.5. I'm so confused.
3-35 for just
it's actually
under
a forward slash, to be clear. If you're searching it's 3 forward slash 35. Yeah.
Forward slash. But if you're interested in purchasing this unit, you can always call 877-350-1818. But check it out on the website, outdoorlegacygear.com. Website is the best.
As of the recording of this, that we have them in stock in the warehouse. They have actually been there for several weeks, but I did not make them actually live until today because Hans and I wanted to test them some more. And
listen to that, folks. He could have sold these units 3 weeks ago, but he would not sell them until we had a chance to test them. So if that doesn't tell you the type of company you're working with, then I don't know what will. Because I know everybody else probably would have already tried to sell these things. There's no doubt about it. But yeah, anyway.
I told them I wanted to test them first. And so I believe they were going to be good. So, but yeah, I wanted to put my hands on it, and both of us. And so we have been. So yeah, but we do have those in stock. So go check them out.
Okay. Also check in next week because I do want to tell you the hog hunting stories from the tournament that we had last weekend. So there were some pretty funny things.
I want to hear all these. I haven't heard all these yet.
One of them involved me stepping in a hole. We were stalking up on some pigs that were a couple hundred yards away, and I stepped in the biggest pasture hole that you could ever find. I mean, and I fell, Jason, and when it was one of those falls that everything in your hands just goes everywhere. And I go basically face first into the dirt, and sticks go everywhere. Monoculars goes on the ground, and
we needed
my
video
hunting buddies. No, I didn't get video, but my buddies that were hunting with me were laughing so hard that I thought they were going to scare the hogs off. And when we did get up there, the hogs were still there, and we shot them. And those guys were still laughing. They were double over laughing at me falling. So,
well, I think we need some of them to come on the show and tell this story because I think it's going to be better than what you're going to tell us. I
got one buddy at Tucker that I hunt with. Every time I hunt with him, it's an inside joke, but I fall. Every time I'm with him, I take a spill. The time before that, I was dragging a hog and lost some footing while I was dragging a hog and ate about a yard worth of sod that I had to pick out of my teeth, I'm pretty sure. But anyway, stay tuned. We got some funny hunting stories coming up next week.
Good deal.
More on that.
Well, yeah, folks, check us back next week. The LateNightVisionShow.com is where you can go to learn more about the show, see all the past episodes, find all the links to the social media, Instagram, Facebook, obviously YouTube, all the podcast apps. If you're watching this on YouTube, please like and subscribe and click the little bell, the notification icon. That way you'll be notified every time we release a video, which we do every Thursday morning. This is episode number 154.
54.
So
154.
Next week, good Lord willing, we're back with 155. And if you are looking for Hans and you would like to see some of these hunts he's talking about, he is putting videos out all the time of hunting action, coyotes, hogs, varmints, as well as doing in-depth scope reviews on most all the optics that we review on here. Hans will normally show footage from those optics in the field. If that's what you're looking for, go to his channel and you can check all those out there. You can find him on Instagram at HANSETX, Hans East Texas. Same thing on YouTube. As Hans already said, if you're looking for night vision or thermal optics, you can go to outdoorlegacygear.com and check us out there, or give us a call at 877-350-1818. We appreciate your support in choosing us for your night vision and thermal optic needs.
Yeah, it was a good thing when we had the tournament and the weigh-in, and there were several guys that showed up with Outdoor Legacy T-shirts. It was
good.
It was an awesome sight to see. I need to give a shout out to Ashley Rowe too. Ashley is a customer of ours, good customer of ours. He hunted in the weigh-in. He showed up, showed his support, had his Outdoor Legacy hat on and his T-shirt, and there were several others. I can't believe
you just called. Man, his head's going to be so big now. Gosh, Ashley.
I need to send him a message on Instagram, let him know that I talked about him on the show, but he's got to wait till the end.
Yeah, exactly. He's a good guy.
Got to meet him and his buddy Bradley. They were on the team together, and there were so many. I didn't tell you this, Jason. There were so many guys there with Outdoor Legacy shirts. I mean, it was just like a homecoming. Oh yeah, it was great to see. So. But we'll talk more about that. Yes, next week it will be episode 155. The week after that will be exactly 3 years of shows that we've done with the Late Night Vision Show podcast. So, and that's 3 years without missing a week. And,
maybe I'll get a week off. We'll get to take a week off.
I don't know. We appreciate the listeners. That's what has kept this show going so long, is support and the feedback that we get from y'all. And the support is shown by a lot of different ways. The comments, subscribing to the YouTube channel, subscribing and giving us 5 stars or 5 thumbs up on iTunes or whatever it may be, and also buying optics from Outdoor Legacy. And that's a big part of it. So we thank you for that. We will be back soon, and we look forward to seeing y'all and talking more about this stuff. So with that being said, y'all stay safe in the fields and keep making the bacon pancakes.